starts now on the Padres Radio Network.
We are live here at Petco Park as the Padres fall on this Saturday night to the Philadelphia Phillies. Final score here tonight, the Phillies 5 and the Padres 1. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we wrap this one up. Plenty of people still here, finishing up their beers and having a good time on this Saturday night. A sold-out crowd in downtown San Diego. More than 43,000 in the building here tonight. 8th sellout of the season, but unfortunately, for a second consecutive night, a very, very frustrating night for the San Diego Padres, who have now lost 3 in a row. Padres dropped to 14-16. Phillies continue to play very, very good baseball. They're now 18-10. A lot to do on our post-game coverage from Petco Park. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt coming up in just a little bit. We'll also have all the radio highlights for you, break down this game in its entirety, our daily awards, and much, much more to get to as the Padres again fall by a final score of 5-1. But some initial thoughts for you, and we just begin with a game that sort of looked a lot like yesterday in the sense that the Padres fell behind early and really never recovered. Obviously, this was a very highly touted pitching matchup here tonight between Dylan Cease, who had been terrific as of late in the early part of his Padre career, and Ranger Suarez, who had been tremendous for the Phillies coming in. Well, let's start with Suarez. He was, as advertised, outstanding here tonight. At one point in this game, Suarez had 7 2/3 scoreless innings under his belt. He had not allowed a runner to reach second base by the time there were 2 outs in the 8th inning. In fact, the Padres had a one-man reach second base in this game. It was the home run by Eggy Rosario in the 8th inning to make it a 5-1 game. Aside from that here tonight, believe it or not, the Padres did not have a runner on second base. They didn't have an at-bat in this game with a runner in scoring position. So Suarez was dominant here tonight. Now Dylan Cease on the other side of it, and we'll dive deeper into this as the postgame show rolls along. Cease had an interesting outing. You'll look at the final line: 6 innings, 5 earned runs given up, 6 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, 91 pitches. The unfortunate part tonight for Dylan Cease was that all the damage came with 2 outs. The home run from Bohm in the first inning, a 2-out, 2-run home run. Padres really never recovered after that. They would never tie the game after that. And then in the 5th inning, 2 outs, nobody on, a single, a walk, an infield single, a walk to Bryce Harper with the bases loaded, made it 3-0. And then Alec Bohm, my goodness, we talked about him pregame. He has just been scorching hot as of late. A 2-run single. He had a 2-run home run, the 2-run single in the 5th inning for a 4 RBI night. And that was the story of this game. Phillies got 2 in the 1st inning, 3 in the 5th inning against Cease, all the damage coming with 2 outs. So had Dylan Cease had the ability to get out of those innings with just no runs given up, or even in the 5th inning, just 1 run given up, you probably look at this like a much different outing for Dylan Cease. But hey, we touted the pitching matchup in this game between Cease and Suarez more so held up his end of the bargain. I mean, he was just simply outstanding here tonight. A tip of the cap to Ranger Suarez, and the Padres just did not get anything going against them offensively. I wish there was more to break down, more to tell you about from this game, but they just could not touch Ranger Suarez, aside from Eggy Rosario hitting a solo home run. Bogart's 0 for 4 tonight, Tatis 0 for 4. Profar had an infield single in this game, but aside from that, Manny 0 for 3, Kim 0 for 3, Campusano 0 for 3, and Cease gave up the 2-out damage in the 1st inning and the 5th inning. That was the story of this game. There's not, to be honest with you, a whole lot to break down or really analyze. It was Suarez being absolutely dominant, aside from 1 swing by Eggy Rosario, and Dylan Cease being unable to close out a couple of innings in the 1st inning and the 5th, and that's the way it went here tonight. And unfortunately, as this game's going along and the Padres are trailing and ultimately they lose this game, I'll be honest with you, I went back and traced things back to the 8th inning on Thursday in Colorado, because at that point, not that one game necessarily always goes into the next, or the momentum carries into the next. In baseball, sometimes it does, sometimes, the old cliche is right. Momentum is as good or as bad as your next day's starting pitcher, right? Whether your momentum is good or bad at any given point of a season. But when you go back to the eighth inning, you include that eighth inning where the Rockies scored 6 runs to come back and stun the Padres, win that game in Colorado. From that point on, the Padres have been outscored 20-4 since that eighth inning and into these first 2 games against the Phillies. 20-4 since that eighth inning, including that eighth inning. So, look, you hoped the way that game transpired in Colorado, you hope that wouldn't carry over to the homestand here. On one hand, you could argue maybe there's a little bit of that. On the other hand, look, bottom line is this is a good Phillies team. They've got a dangerous lineup. Their starting pitching as of late has been outstanding. We saw what Aaron Nola did yesterday, and Ranger Suarez, at one point here tonight, he had put together a run of 32 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings, only broken out by the Eggy Rosario home run. So, look, Suarez was great. This is a really good Phillies team, and now the Padres will try to avoid a series sweep at the hands of the Phillies tomorrow here at Petco Park. But no doubt about it, 3 straight losses. It has been a very frustrating few days for the San Diego Padres, and now they'll try to regroup and get ready for the series finale against the Phillies tomorrow. When we come back, we'll recap this game in its entirety. We'll also hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Much more to do as the Phillies win it here tonight 5-1. More coming up on our postgame show after this on the Padres Radio Network. Our postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score here tonight, the Phillies 5 and the Padres 1. No doubt about it, a frustrating evening for the San Diego Padres as they drop to a record of 14-16. Phillies improve to 18-10. Still a lot to do on our post-game coverage. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt coming up in just a little bit. We'll also have all the radio highlights for you. give out our daily awards, full out-of-town scoreboard. We will take your tweets, your Instagram DMs, your YouTube comments. Again, we are streaming on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube once again here tonight, a new endeavor that we've started this week, and I know a lot of people have really enjoyed watching the YouTube stream, so if you want to comment on YouTube, we'll address those coming up a little bit later as well, let you get involved, let you sound off on what has been no doubt a frustrating few days for the Padres. Again, you go back to the 8th inning in Colorado, and again, I don't know how correlated all these games and scores are, but here's the fact of the matter. Since that 8th inning in Colorado, the Padres had a 9-4 lead against the Rockies on Thursday. Heading into the 8th, Rockies would go on to score 6 and win it 10-9. From that point on, the Padres have been outscored 20-4. Since that 8th inning. So again, I just think it illustrates kind of what's happened here in the last 48 to 72 hours. You felt pretty good about where this team was at on Thursday heading into that 8th inning, and since then it has just not gone well on the pitching side or offensively as well. Again, we'll hear from Mike Schultz coming up in just a little bit, but first let's break down how this one went here tonight at Petco Park.
What moments had the biggest impact on today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game recap on the Padres Radio Network.
Dylan Cease took the mound for the Padres in the top of the first inning. He allowed a one-out single to Trey Turner. There were 2 outs, and Turner still on base for Alec Bohm.
Not only has Bohm hit in 10 straight, he's had a double each of his last 6 games. And he hits this one very deep to left field. Zokar back to the wall. He's got no chance. It's a 2-run home run for Alec Bohm, his 4th of the year. And the Phillies playing some more long ball here at Petco. Jump out to a 2-0 lead in the first.
Ranger Suarez took the mound in the bottom half. He worked around a 2-out infield single. Suarez would get the game to the 5th inning with the Padres still down 2-0. He was absolutely outstanding tonight. More on Suarez in a bit. Cease, though, had settled in. He started the 5th inning by retiring the first 2 batters, but then a single from Whit Merrifield, a walk to Kyle Schwarber, an infield single for Trey Turner. The bases were loaded for Bryce Harper. Harper walked to bring home a run. It was a 3-0 Phillies lead. With the bases still loaded and 2 out, it was Alec Bohm again.
1-2 again to Bohm. Here's the pitch. And a hard hit liner over Profar into right field, base hit. Schwarber has scored. Trey Turner's on his way. Fernando's throw, the tag is not in time. A 2-run single for Alec Bohm, and the Phillies have rallied with 2 outs here in the 5th inning. They now lead 5-0.
The red-hot Alec Bohm doing it again, a 2-run home run in the first inning. Like we just heard, a 2-run single to make it 5-0 in the 5th. Cease would go 6 innings, 5 earned runs given up on 6 hits, 5 strikeouts, 3 walks, 91 pitches here tonight for Dylan Cease. But the story of the night became Ranger Suarez. He was dealing. Suarez went 7 scoreless innings to begin his night. He had allowed just 2 singles at the end of the 7th inning. Padres did not have a runner on second base against him through 7 innings. Only one of those singles, by the way, was hit to the outfield. The other was an infield single in the first. Suarez then got the first 2 outs of the 8th with the Phillies ahead 5-0. To that point, again, Suarez 7 2/3 scoreless innings and a run of 32 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings. But then Eggy Rosario dug in.
Pitch coming, and Rosario hits it in the air to deep left field. There goes the shutout. Eggy taking aim for the big golf ball. And a home run, his 3rd of the year. Padres on the board here in the 8th inning. A solo shot for Eggy Rosario, and it's a 5-1 game.
But Suarez would get the next batter, Jackson Merrill. He ended that 8th inning with the Phillies still ahead 5-1. Suarez was terrific in this game for Philadelphia. 8 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, no walks, 8 strikeouts on a grand total of 96 pitches. Adrian Morejon was very solid out of the bullpen for the Padres. 3 scoreless innings, 2 hits given up, 47 pitches tonight for Morejon. He kept it a 5-0 game, then a 5-1 game. Jeff Hoffman, a 1-2-3-9 inning for the Phillies out of the bullpen, and that was that here tonight. Final score, Phillies 5 and the Padres 1. And like I said in the opening segment, not a ton to really break down, analyze from this game. Ranger Suarez was absolutely terrific here tonight. He was dominant. The Padres, again, aside from the home run by Eggy Rosario, did not have an at-bat. with a runner in scoring position. They did not put another runner on second base aside from that home run by Rosario. And Dylan Cease up and down here tonight. All the damage, both in the first inning and the fifth inning, came with 2 outs, especially in that fifth inning. The 3-run scoring for the Phillies after there were 2 outs and nobody on. So a frustrating night really all around for the Padres as they've now dropped the first 2 games of this 3-game series and will try to avoid being swept tomorrow. Let's go downstairs here at Petco Park and hear some post-game reaction from Mike Schill.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Schultz. Presented by Sinley Food. Spice up your culinary life.
Mike, as dominant as Dylan's been against right-handers all year, how surprising is it that it was Bohm that caused the damage? And overall, what do you think of Dylan's outing?
Well, you're not going to continue the trend of the dominance he's had against righties, but he is tough as heck, to your point. And then you got, I don't know, this guy Bohm, man, he's one of the best right-handed hitters in the game right now. This guy's seeing it and swinging it really well. So, he got a slider that he put a swing on early on, and then, man, his stuff was tremendous till the fifth. And you're talking about infield single, walk, infield single, then a walk, and then our guy hits one to right field for, basically the big blow for that inning to get a 3-run spot. So I thought Dylan was great. Just made him pitch, he made him pay for, and just one of those deals where we're in that rut where, a couple infield singles, a couple walks, and can't overcome it.
As far as Suarez tonight, last night, obviously Nola was sharp in his way, a different repertoire tonight for Suarez, but seemed equally surgical in terms of what he was able to do and getting all different quadrants and staying on the corners.
You nailed it. I mean, surgical is the best way of saying it. You're talking about, we don't like it, but we also got to respect it, that we've got to compete against it and figure out a way. That's what winners do. And but Nola last night, very surgical. This guy tonight, Suarez, was tremendous. I mean, he threw the ball very well. Up, down, in, out. If you think about the disruption of hitters' timing and getting guys off balance, so in and out's the disruption of balance. He was able to do that, and he's able to go back and forth with the disruption of timing. So when you got guys doing both of those things, going in, out, and then back and forth, makes for tough sledding on our offensive side.
On the bright side, Adrian Morejon was outstanding again tonight. He's put together several really solid outings. Your thought on his progress?
Tremendous. Stuff's electric. Stuff's coming out really good. He's throwing it where he wants to. Again, navigating a tough lineup, but it's our job, and he did it really well. It's a huge 3 innings, sets us up just like he did in Colorado to win the next day and to give ourselves a chance on that last day. Same thing tonight. Grabbed 3 innings, gave us a chance to come back and win it, and then gave us a chance to be in a better shape with our bullpen after, a couple short outings back-to-back prior to tonight. So can't say enough about Adrian. He's really stepped up and pitched very well for us.
I know you did have some hard-hit balls that found some fielders, but what can you do when Rangers kind of working like he is to I guess maybe change the approach to get some traffic on there, I guess? Yeah,
games like that. I mean, those are the kind of games we expect to play in October that we're going to need to figure out, that are the next steps, is when there's a stingy opponent. When you look, and stingy being, you look up and no walks. Walk anybody ahead of all counts. Guys throwing, a lot of different pitches for quality strikes. And we just got to figure out a way on our side to play clean defense, which we did. But also, limit the walks. And, it's a challenge, clearly. And then to your point about the at-bats, yeah, I felt like our approach, Manny smoked a couple balls, and some balls were hit hard, and some balls had some pace to the infield. And, it's interesting because just the way the game is, like we had some balls with probably a little bit more pace that, go to their infielders, or they make a nice play on to their credit because they're a good defensive club, and some balls that go up the end of the bat or swinging bunts that don't happen for us. So, but it's ultimately about continuing to make sure that discipline takes place during the at-bats to get a good pitch to hit, and when you get it, don't miss it. And frankly, he didn't give us too many to hit, and when he did, I thought we put barrels on it. And sometimes the balls are hit at people, and that's just the way the game's played. But that's the margin in the tight game.
the way Dylan's stuff plays, especially against righties, even if he misses his spot by a little bit, he tends to miss bats or barrels at least. Does it become surprising when a guy squares it up like Bohm did a couple times tonight?
Yeah, I mean, his stuff's really good, man. He had good stuff tonight. I mean, cruising into the fifth, I don't remember exactly what the pitch count is, but you're sitting there monitoring the game as you think about, the bullpen and how you're going to use it and what that looks like, and you're going kind of like the other guy, Suarez. You're going, this is eight inning stuff. And like I said, into the fifth. But yeah, it is surprising when a guy, is able to put a barrel on it. But again, these guys are, accomplished big leaguers too. So, but his stuff's filthy.
Morejon hadn't thrown that many pitches in a few years, and he also has a fairly extensive injury history. How do you balance that with the desire, like you said, to set up the rest of your bullpen in this long stretch of games?
Well, he's been set up. I mean, that's always the balancing act, Dennis. That's part of the managing of bullpens is, he got 3 days off. He threw 36 pitches. So there's usually an addition of 10-plus pitches after that we feel comfortable with. He was built up in spring training to be able to do that. And so that was we had a number. If you saw the righty, which I'm sure you did, getting loose, there was a point we were going to take him to. And it's also about the stress as much as the pitches. If he was in a lot of stress to get those pitches, he wouldn't have been at the number he got to. But the fact of the matter, he's more efficient, which doesn't take as much toll on the body, and he's built up after 3 days rest of 36 pitches, and it was an ideal spot to get him to a number that we were all comfortable with, and his stuff still looked great at the end. So.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt after this game here at Petco Park as the Phillies win it here tonight by a final score of 5-1. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building as we wrap this one up. Good to have you with us on this Saturday night on what was a frustrating night for the Padres. And look, it talked about there the fact that the primary damage came against right-handed hitters for Dylan Cease here tonight. And just to reiterate what was discussed there, and it's something we mentioned pregame, Dylan Cease has been so dominant entering this start against righties. 1 hit allowed to right-handed batters in 59 plate appearances entering tonight. But unfortunately tonight, Dylan Cease ran into a guy in Alec Bohm who is just scorching hot. And Bohm did the damage here tonight, the 2-run home run in the first inning, 2-run single in the fifth inning to make it a 5-0 game, a 4 RBI night for Alec Bohm. So a right-handed hitter in Bohm really did the bulk of the damage. And just to give you an idea, and we'll update you on these numbers tomorrow for Bohm, but his last 10 games entering tonight, he was batting over 500 with 8 doubles, 2 home runs, 12 RBIs, a 1430 OPS in his past 10 games entering tonight. And again, here tonight, he was 2 for 4 with a home run and 4 RBIs. So he continues to be terrific for the Phillies. And, like I said in the opening segment for Dylan Cease here tonight, it was a frustrating outing in the sense of, look, he gave up 5 runs. That's more than I'm sure he would like to give up. But the damage came with 2 outs, both in the first inning. The home run to Bohm was a 2-out hit. And then in the fifth inning, 2 outs, nobody on. And ultimately, that inning sort of unravels on Cease. A single, a walk, an infield single, a walk to Bryce Harper with the bases loaded to bring in a run. Then the 2-run single from Alec Bohm. And all of a sudden, just like that, it's a 5-0 game. And on the other side, you heard, the praise there for Ranger Suarez, who was just dominant. I mean, there's no way around it here tonight. Suarez was just simply dominant. I mean, until the Rosario home run in the 8th inning, with 2 outs in that 8th inning, the Padres had not put a runner on second base against Ranger Suarez. They had 2 singles against him, aside from the home run. The only time a Padre touched second base in this game was on the home run from Rosario. So just telling you that, it gives you an idea of how dominant Ranger Suarez was. And my goodness, what a start to his season. Suarez now down to a 1.32 ERA to begin his season. So he continues to be terrific. And unfortunately, the Padres have now lost 3 games in a row, and they'll try to avoid a sweep tomorrow at the hands of the Phillies. When we come back, we'll continue to break down this game. Again, if you want to chime in, tell me what you thought about this one, you can tweet at me at SammyLev, SammyLev. Instagram DMs open as well there too. SammyLev. Let me know what you thought about this one here tonight, what you're thinking about the Padres right now. We are streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, all the streaming platforms. So if you're watching on YouTube, you want to get in the comment section, chime in there. I may just read your comment, your message, your tweet live here on the air as we discuss this game here tonight. The Phillies winning it 5-1 against the Padres. Post-game show from Petco Park continues after this on the Padres Radio Network. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score here tonight, Phillies 5 and the Padres 1, as the Padres losing skid hits 3. Phillies have won the first 2 games of this 3-game series. Padres will try to avoid a series sweep tomorrow. We've got some fans leaving the loft. Hello, have a safe drive home. Good to see you. Hope everybody had a good time here tonight at Petco Park. Great crowd here tonight. 43,018 in the building. The 8th sellout of the season here in downtown San Diego. So to the fans tonight, you did your part. You showed up. And as you always do, and not a whole lot to cheer about tonight, unfortunately. And one of the new kind of interesting things I'm dealing with as we live stream on video our pre- and post-game coverage now is, especially here inside the loft. Now, what you see behind me is the American flag made out of baseballs. It really is something behind me. It's beautiful. But you see sort of the interactions, and if you listen to my post-game, pre-game coverage throughout the last 2+ seasons, you know that up here in the loft, people come say hello, they take selfies. It's great. We love the interaction. It's great. It's one of my favorite parts about being here in this spot. It really, really is a great, great part of it. But now on the video feed, now you can sort of see when I interact with people. Sometimes I'll be waving as I'm talking, smiling, selfies. It's a lot of fun here. So it's good to be on YouTube. If you want to chime in, check it out here tonight. You can check us out on YouTube at the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel. But we always want to consider all the people watching, or I should say listening, on the radio as well. As again, the Phillies win it here tonight by a final score of 5-1. Just a frustrating night. really both on the mound and at the plate for the Padres. We've already really talked a lot about it already. Padres 3 hits tonight. They had 2 singles through the first 7 2/3 innings. The only Padre that touched second base tonight in the whole game was Eggy Rosario on a solo home run in the 8th inning that made it 5-1. Aside from that, Ranger Suarez was simply dominant. 8 innings, 1 run given up on the home run to Rosario, 3 hits total, 8 strikeouts on 96 pitches. And like we've been saying, Dylan Cease, up and down outing, got through 6, gave up 5 runs. Unfortunately, all the runs tonight came with 2 outs, both in the first inning and the 5th inning. And look, Dylan Cease has been really, really good in the early portion of his Padre career. This is a tough lineup. It's a veteran lineup. It's a lineup that can hurt you in a lot of ways. It's a lineup that has a lot of power. So, one of the things we talked about in our keys to the game pregame, could the Padres find a way to just slow this lineup down a little bit? A lineup that in the past handful of games has been averaging nearly 6 runs per game. C sort of did it tonight. I mean, you don't want to give up 5 runs in an outing, but he was awfully close to getting out of some of these innings. In the first inning, could have been a scoreless inning. 5th inning, could have been a scoreless inning pretty easily. Certainly could have been a 1-run inning to keep it a 3-0 game, but unfortunately the Phillies able to tack on a couple more, make it a 5-0 game. And at that point, with the way that Ranger Suarez was going, Padres just did not have enough offensively, really anywhere close to ultimately climb back in this ball game here tonight. We will take some of your phone calls here coming up. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, the phone number to call if you want to get involved. So if you want to wait on hold for a little bit, you can do that, and I'll let you sound off about this ball game here tonight. Let's quickly tell you about our relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher was able to come in and slam the door shut? It's time for the relief pitcher of the game in support of the Jacobs and Cushman San Diego Food Bank, providing food assistance to local children, families, and seniors in need. To get help or give help, visit SanDiegoFoodBank.org.
Our relief pitcher of the game here tonight, go with Adrian Morejon. We'll keep it on the Padres tonight. Morejon was really good. 3 scoreless innings, kept it a 5-0 game, then a 5-1 game, certainly did his job. 3 scoreless innings, 2 hits, walked nobody, struck out 5, threw a lot of pitches, 47 for Morejon. Padres really pushed him tonight to 47, but he was great. And Morejon has been really, really solid, to his credit, as of late. Last 3 outings for Adrian now, inning and a third scoreless, 2 innings and a third scoreless, 3 innings scoreless. So he's been effective, he's provided some length, and credit to Adrian Morejon, certainly out of the bullpen, did his job here today, and made sure that tomorrow for the Padres you have a fresh pen, because the only guy you had to use here tonight was Morejon after Cease went 6. So for that reason, Adrian Morejon here tonight, our relief pitcher of the game. Once again, the final score here tonight, Phillies 5, Padres 1. Phone number to call, as always, 833-288-0973. Let's begin things here tonight on the phones with Katie calling in from Oceanside. Hi, Katie. You're on the Padres postgame show. How are you?
Hi, Sammy. How you doing tonight?
Doing well, doing well. Beautiful night here at the ballpark. Wish the game would have been a little bit better for the Padres, but hey, can't complain too much.
Hey, absolutely. So tomorrow we're going to come see you right there at the flag. But I do want to say tonight, so the 2 out, the inability to close the inning at 2 outs is really, really frustrating. But you know what? Dylan Cease did a really good job tonight. What I am really frustrated about is the offense. Like, we get guys on base. We leave a small village out there. Like, when are we going to break out? It is absolutely frustrating to me that we cannot seem to break out of this offensive funk. And is it lineup construction? Is it just pitch selection? Is it approach? Like, how are we going to fix this?
Well, look, Katie, and appreciate the phone call as always, and please do come say hello tomorrow if you're at the ballpark. I don't know how much lineup construction it is. I mean, look, the Padres have to find ways to generate more offense, and they need guys like Fernando, who went 0 for 4 tonight, certainly like Bogarts, who went 0 for 4 tonight, Manny, Kim, Campusano, all the usual guys we talk about. They need those guys to carry the way. And, to be honest with you, just flipping through the box scores here, and this is without me going deeper into what's the team batting average been in the last whatever games or whatnot, but I'm just quickly flipping through here. I mean, you really look at it. Tonight, the Padres got 1 run on 3 hits. Last night, they got 3 runs total. On Thursday in Colorado, they actually did a lot of great things offensively. They had 9 runs, but it all came crashing down in the 8th inning, as we know. But if you remember the other part of that series in Colorado, you felt like the Padres, despite winning a couple of those games, really left, a lot of runs on the board, especially at Coors Field. They only had 5 runs in the Wednesday game. They had 4 runs in the Tuesday game. They only had 3 runs in the Monday game. They won that game on Monday, scoring only 3 in Colorado. It just wasn't a very Coors Field-like game. But the offense has not really been clicking on all cylinders here for a little bit. I mean, you can even go a little bit farther back than that if you want to talk about last Sunday against the Blue Jays. Padres found a way to manufacture some runs, but it's not like they did anything really flashy in the game on that Sunday. They had 2 runs on the Saturday before that. They had 1 run on the Friday. They got shut out in Milwaukee. I'm going way back here, but you can even trace it back to the final game of the series in Milwaukee when King was really, really good. He took the no-hitter into the 7th inning, and the Padres got shut out. Remember, they lost that game 1-0. You can really trace it back to almost that. It's been about a week and a half of this offense not really feeling, aside from that game on Thursday, like it's clicking on all cylinders, like there's been a lot of power, a lot of extra base hits. So again, I'm not diving into numbers here post-game. I'm just flipping through the box scores and telling you kind of what it feels like. And it feels like since that final game of the series in Milwaukee, it has not been clicking together. So, Katie, I'm with you. I mean, look, here tonight, with Cease giving up the 2-out runs, frustrating it was. But then again, Dylan Cease has been really, really good as of late. And, it's going to be hard to win a game when you're down 5-0, but the bottom line is this. Let's just recreate the game for a second. Let's say Bohm hits the 2-run home run in the first inning. That would have been enough. Let's say Cease has a 1-2-3 5th inning, cruises through 7 innings, gives up 2 runs. Morjon throws 2 innings. I'm just making up a game here. And the Padres offense does the exact same thing tonight against Suarez and the 1 inning for Hoffman to close it. I mean, the Padres still lose the game 2-1. So I'm with you. I think more of the concern here tonight continues to be the offense, right? And, getting this team sort of clicking offensively all together. You felt like it was sort of happening during the road trip to L.A. and then the first couple of games in Milwaukee, but it just feels like since that day game in Milwaukee has not been nearly as potent as it was. And you just look at the last now 10 games. Look, the Padres are 3-7 in their last 10 games now. So the record kind of reflects what you feel right now, and the Phillies are playing great. They've won 13 of 17. So, look, the Padres 14-16 now. You really want to win this game tomorrow. You don't want to get swept. Another solid team in the Reds coming in. So, hey, the Padres, and we've talked about it at length, they're playing a lot of good teams coming up. This is a hard schedule. The first couple of months here, there's not a lot of breaks in it as far as playing teams that, you don't expect to be in the postseason mix. So they got to handle that right now, and certainly tomorrow feels like an important game against what is a very, very good Phillies team. All right, we'll step aside here on the Padres Radio Network. When we come back, we'll continue to give out our daily awards, and we'll have the full out-of-town scoreboard, continue to take your phone calls, your tweets, your DMs, and your YouTube comments on Twitter or Instagram at Sammy Lev, SAMMYLEV. You can DM me on Instagram, tweet at me. If you want to comment on YouTube, you can do that as well, and we'll take some more phone calls when we come back as well. 833-288-0973. As always, the phone number to call. Final score here tonight, Phillies 5, Padres 1. More after this on the Padres Radio Network. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score here tonight, the Phillies 5 and the Padres 1. Padres have now dropped 3 in a row. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. The loft is cleared out. Petco Park has emptied, so now just me and you here at Petco Park. Hope you're having a great Saturday night. Not a great ball game for the Padres here tonight as they scored just 1 run on 3 hits. Ranger Suarez, terrific in this game for the Phillies. 8 innings, 1 earned run given up on just 3 hits. Dylan Cease, an up-and-down outing here tonight. 6 innings, 5 earned runs given up, all those runs scoring with 2 outs. Most of the damage done by Alec Boehm, who had a home run, a 2-run shot in the first inning, then a 2 RBI single in the 5th inning. The 2 RBI single in the 5th inning made it 5-0, and the Padres could not get any closer than 5-1. We'll have the out-of-town scoreboard coming up here in just a little bit, so stay tuned for that. Continue to give out our daily awards and also preview the final game of this series tomorrow here at Petco Park. Let's quickly continue on the phones. Again, the phone number 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's go to Baker calling in from San Diego. Baker, you're on the Padres Radio Network. How are you?
Hey there, Sam. It's Baker Man, actually, in San Diego. First-time caller, long-time listener. You know, I just wanted to share something. A lot of people have been, kind of upset with the way the Padres are doing. And the truth of the matter is they only need to win 11 out of 20 games, and they'll make the playoffs. That's a .550 percentage, and that will give them 89 wins. And history tells us 89 wins is going to get them into the playoffs. So just need to win 11 of 20. Their record was 11-20 at the 20th game. So, it's a really tough time for people to be hitting the eject button on this team. This is a good team, and things balance out over a season.
All right, Baker. Well, look, appreciate your optimism, and thank you for the phone call. I don't have the math in me right now to search up and confirm you're 11 for 20, and that would equal 89 wins. We're already past that, and the Padres are sitting at 14-16 right now. So, look, you go 11-9 over and over. I guess that would be good. To your point, Baker. Look, I'll comment on the part of it, hitting the eject button. Look, the last 3 days have not been great. Ever since that 8th inning in Colorado, I think this is a very, very good Phillies team. It's a veteran Phillies team. It's an experienced Phillies team. This is a Phillies team that, people have picked to win the World Series. And not only the lineup, which we know has a lot of big names, but their starting rotation has been terrific as of late. Ranger Suarez certainly that way. Here tonight, look, you've got a tough homestand here. 1 more against the Phillies, 3 more against the Reds, 2 games below 500. You'd really like to win tomorrow, then go win a series against the Reds and continue to be right around 500. I think right now, with the way the Padres are playing in the last 3 days, you lose a couple more here in a row. This homestand doesn't go so well, and all of a sudden you could find yourself 3-4 games below 500 and then trying to dig out of that. And as we saw last year, once you get below and things aren't going well, it can be tough to climb out of it. So you'll want to stop the 3-game skid tomorrow. It is April, but these games are important. And look, I think through 30 games, we're at the 30-game mark here today. There have been things about this team that have been encouraging, that you've liked. There have been things that have been concerning. There has been some in between as well, right? I mean, a season is not made in 30 games. But look, no doubt about it, you'd like their record to be better than 14-16 through 30. I think, a lot of us, in the offseason and going into spring training really felt like a hot start, a big run right out of the gate would sort of do wonders for this team to sort of erase a lot of last year's memory on the field with how disappointing last year was on the field. Let's be honest. I mean, that really hasn't happened. It's been more of a 1 step forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, that kind of thing so far. So I think the danger right now for the Padres is that you've got 1 more against the Phillies. The Reds are a good team. I think a team that's going to be in the postseason mix. We could get more into the schedule a little bit later, but this is a tough schedule coming up. So you've got to find ways to win these games and win some of these series to, at the very least, hover around 500. I think that is going to be important really throughout the end of May. Look, they've got to hit the ball better. They've got to play cleaner, and we'll see if they can do that both tomorrow and moving forward. Let's take a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the Bigs and tell you about the scores you need to know in our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Meat, where great taste meets integrity.
We take a look at scores today from around the major leagues. We have 3 games still going on right now. Pirates ahead of the Giants 4-3 in San Francisco, 10th inning there. Twins ahead of the Angels 11-4 in Anaheim in the 6th inning. Mariners ahead of the Diamondbacks 3-1 in Seattle in the 8th. We have finals already today. Dodgers beat the Blue Jays in Toronto 4-2. Reds beat the Rangers 8-4 in Arlington. Will Benson a home run in that one for the Reds. Cardinals beat the Mets 7-4 in New York earlier today. Orioles beat the A's 7-0 in Baltimore. Red Sox beat up on the Cubs 17-0 in Boston earlier today. Nationals beat the Marlins 11-4 in Miami. Jesse Winker a grand slam in that game for Washington. Astros beat the Rockies in Mexico City 12-4. Yordan Alvarez 2 home runs in that game for Houston. Tigers beat the Royals 6-5 in Detroit. Yankees beat up on the Brewers 15-3 in Milwaukee. Aaron Judge and Anthony Rizzo had home runs in that game for New York. White Sox beat the Rays 8-7 in Chicago, the final in 10. Andrew Benintendi, a walk-off base hit for the White Sox in that one. They're now 5-22. Has not gone well for the White Sox so far. Guardians beat the Braves 4-2 in 11 in Atlanta, and that's a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Saturday across the major leagues. Now let's tell you about our player of the game.
Which player had the biggest impact on today's game? Let's find out who is today's player of the game. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Catch every game at Patties and Pints. Plus, enjoy $4 beer every Thursday. Visit valleyviewcasino.com today.
Our player of the game here tonight on the Padres radio network, it's got to be a Philly, and to be honest with you, it's got to be one of 2 guys. It's either Bohm with the 2 hits, the home run, 4 RBIs, or it's Suarez. And tell you what, I'll go with Ranger Suarez. I mean, he was just dominant here tonight. I mean, anytime you go 8 innings and the other team didn't have an at-bat with a runner in scoring position and you had one guy touch second base, it was a home run, albeit, for Aggie Rosario. I think you deserve player of the game. That's how good Suarez was here tonight, and I know I've talked about it at length here, and there are probably Padres fans out there listening, watching, that are like, all right, we get it, Suarez, great. Well, tonight he was the story for the Phillies, and in this game, 8 really, really great innings, 1 run given up. So Ranger Suarez of the Phillies, our player of the game here tonight. Trust me, it doesn't give me any pleasure to few nights in a row here be given out. I guess I didn't do it last night. Matt Scraby, by the way, did a nice job filling in for me last night, but giving out players of the game to non-Padres, but sometimes that is the way it goes, and that's the way it goes here tonight. When we come back, we'll have our play of the game. We'll read off some of your comments, tweets, DMs. If you want to get involved that way, again, you can tweet at me or Instagram DM me at SammyLev, SammyLev. If you want to get a phone call in, 833-288-0973 is always the phone number to call if you want to get involved that way quickly. We have some time to squeeze in another phone call or 2. We'll wrap things up, get you ready for tomorrow. Again, the final score here tonight, Phillies 5, Padres 1. Back after this on the Padres Radio Network. Our postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score here tonight, Phillies 5 and the Padres 1. Padres have now lost 3 in a row. They'll try to avoid a sweep to the Phillies tomorrow. More on that game coming up in just a little bit. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we wrap this one up. Frustrating night for the Padres, and part of that frustration due to Alec Bohm, who has just been on a tear as of late, came in batting over 500 in a span of 10 games, and I'll tell you what, so far in this series, he has not slowed down at all. Bohm, in yesterday's game, had a big day here today, and it was, well, unfortunately, the Phillies' Alec Bohm who provided our play of the game.
What was the crucial play that determined who came out on top? This is today's Play of the Game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Not only has Bohm hit in 10 straight, he's had a double each of his last 6 games, and he hits this one very deep to left field. Zokar back to the wall. He's got no chance. It's a 2-run home run for Alec Bohm, his 4th of the year. And the Phillies playing some more long ball here at Petco, jump out to a 2-0 lead in the first.
Alec Bohm, 2-run home run in the first inning, our play of the game. I mean, had the Padres done the exact same thing offensively here tonight, and that had been the only runs the Phillies scored, Padres still lose this game 2-1. So to me, look, Bohm, the 2-run home run, the 2 RBI single in the 5th inning, had to be that way here tonight. One of those had to be our play of the game, despite Edgar Rosario having a nice moment with the home run in the 8th inning. But Bohm, the 2-run home run, ended up being the biggest swing in this game. Gave the Phillies the lead, and Phillies said to Ranger Suarez tonight, all right, here's a 2-0 lead, go protect it. And that's exactly what Suarez did with 8 strong innings of 1-run ball. All right, taking a look ahead to tomorrow. Right-hander Michael King on the mound for the Padres. Right-hander Taijuan Walker on the mound for the Phillies. First pitch tomorrow afternoon, start time 1:10 p.m. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show will begin at 12:10. Certainly hope you can join us then. Again, first pitch at 1:10. Pregame coverage begins at 12:10. Michael King against Taijuan Walker, our pitching matchup tomorrow. Couple of reminders before we get out of here tonight. Number one, again, if you haven't checked out our new video stream for our pre- and post-game coverage, you can do that and check out the video stream, what should be each and every night here moving forward. We've done it the last 3 days, and it's been pretty successful so far. So if you would rather watch our pre- and post-game coverage, you can do that by watching on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. We're on all those platforms now, both here at the ballpark in the Western Metal Building and inside our San Diego studios when the team is on the road, so you can do that. So highly encourage you to go check that out if you want to put me on your TV, pre-game, post-game, and get ready and break down each and every game that way. Also, we are still posting to the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast feed. All you have to do is search up Inside San Diego Baseball with Sam Levitt on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcasts, and that is where you can find my full post-game show each and every night after we are off the air. Taking a look at the final totals here tonight. For the Phillies, 5 runs, 8 hits, no errors. They left on 6. For the Padres, 1 run, 3 hits, no errors. They left on 1. Winning pitcher was Ranger Suarez, who improves to 5-0. Losing pitcher was Dylan Cease, who drops to 3-2. Time of game, really quick one here tonight at Petco Park. 2 hours and 9 minutes. And the crowd, hey, credit to all the fans out there. Thank you for showing up. Outstanding crowd once again. The 8th sellout of 2024. Our official attendance here tonight, 43,018. Once again, first pitch tomorrow at 1:10 p.m. Our pregame coverage begins at 12:10. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Frank Marchese, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long and good night from inside Petco Park. Again, the final score here tonight, the Philadelphia Phillies 5 and the San Diego Padres 1. We'll talk to you tomorrow from Petco Park on the Padres Radio Network.